Hi everyone, I'm back here with Kaonis. We're having a fascinating look at some of his work and I wanted to share it with you. Kaonis, thank you for joining me again today.
Thank you.
You're where? Would you like to just introduce yourself? Where are you? What are you? And
My name is Kaonis Thomas. I am a retired military service person. And right now I'm focused on full-time on completing artwork. A lot of my artwork I have already done sketches over the years, and now I would like to see them as large scale paintings.
great. I've loved looking through the work. There's one in particular, the task force one. There's a story behind that, isn't there? Which I'm looking forward to sharing with everybody. So you're in St. Louis, Missouri, and you're a full member of our gang, which is great. Thank you very much for that. And I know you're a regular attender at our networking events, which is great. We're up to 26,000 now in our LinkedIn group, which is just nuts. I mean, we're getting yesterday, where are we now? We're in May 2023. Yesterday, we had 178 people join our LinkedIn group. So it's a growing gang, which is lovely. So, but what I thought we'd cut straight to is have a look at some of the work. So I'm going to share my screen so that our, where are we? There we go. So that our viewers can see this. So let's go here first. So what's the story here?
Okay, she's a military counselor, and I visit her approximately once a month. But you know, you tell people I'm an artist, and people say, "Okay, yeah, you're an artist." So I took a picture of her with my iPhone. Just went to her office, took my iPhone out of my pocket, took a picture of her, and brought it home, and I drew the picture. And it was only after the fact I told, "Oh, by the way, I'm doing a drawing of you," and I took it to her, and she was amazed.
It's beautiful. You've captured her fantastically. And it's, so what's the medium here? Is it pencil or chalk, or what are
This
you
is
using?
pencil, graphite. It's a thick lead graphite pencil.
Right. I love it. It's fantastic. And I noticed Sonia has liked it down here. Sonia's another member of our gang. And you've got some comments there as well. So if you want to find these, just search for Kaonis Thomas on LinkedIn and you'll find him. How do I get back to the, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've got this one. This is Task Force Phoenix. So what's the story bit? There's so much going on here. It's fascinating. I can see the wall. I can see people with masks. So that kind of dates it. Border Patrol. There was a story behind this, wasn't there?
Yes, and there's a continuous story behind this picture. The United States has a border that lines along Texas, and it divides Texas and Mexico. And there's a lot of migrants that are crossing that border, and they're coming into the country illegally. So that's what that mission really was about. I was there as an equal opportunity advisor, but my commander, he knew me historically as an artist. So he said, you know what, before we leave Texas, El Paso, Texas, I want you to do a drawing that commemorates our mission. And I told him, okay. So I drove all around Texas, took photographs, and this is a composite of those drawings and sketches. And it, like you said, uniquely is date stamped with the mask from the coronavirus.
Yeah. So when was this then? What year might this have been?
This is 2021.
Right.
2021, and I was in Texas October 2020 through October 2021.
Yeah. I know we had a conversation about the wall last time briefly when we met, and someone had put a seesaw on the through the bars, hadn't they? And there were Mexican children one side and American children the other side. Yeah, I mean, the jury's out, isn't it? It's a split. It splits us all, the concept of it. And I won't press you on how you feel about it. And I know that it's important to manage legal immigration, but on the same token, the world was filled with joy when the Berlin Wall came down, and now we're putting more up. it discomforted me. But was that something that you were thinking about with this, or is it kind of just a job for the team?
Well, when I put the wall up, it was at the end an afterthought, and since it was centered on the Border Patrol migrant mission, I felt that the wall was significant. A big problem with that wall is it is not continuous. There's large gaps where you can literally walk through. So due to the terrain along Texas, there's a lot of places where it'd be difficult to construct a wall.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I also read somewhere at the time that significantly more people enter the US from Mexico illegally via the sea than over the wall. So and obviously the wall does not extend into the sea, I can imagine. But no, that's great. Thank you for that. Let's move on. And so this is Daddy Daughter. This is lovely. What's the story behind this one?
He's a soldier lawyer that I spent time with in Texas. And of course, we spent a lot of time together, and I showed him my artwork, and he wanted me to do a drawing of him and his daughter. And I told him that'd be great when we leave Texas and get go home. I would be happy to do that drawing for you and your daughter.
It's lovely. And did you do that live, or was that from a photograph that you were
That
able
was
to
that
take?
was from a photograph. Most of my drawings are from photographs, but I try my best to make them appear as if they were drawn in person. I really prefer drawing in person, but sometimes photographs are a lot easier.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, that's great. And that's December 21 as well. And that's 16 inches by 11 inches, the original there, isn't it? So yeah, and that's great. And I think we have one more, which is a bit of a departure into a different medium for you. So this is this oil? Yeah, oil on
Yes,
canvas.
on canvas.
And so this was some still life with a broken mug. What was the thing? And there's a series of these, I gather, aren't there, that you did?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is great. I love this. The light that what that shows is your capacity to handle light, because on the right of the image there, it's absolutely clear, that was this from was this still life, or was this from a photo as well?
This was a still life setup. What I did was I went to a secondhand store and I bought a lot of cups. And I went outdoors and found wood, different wood. So the wood are found objects, and the cups are like 10-cent cups. And I intentionally broke the cups to create compositions. And what I was thinking about is various relationships. But what was important is also the wood versus the ceramic, the soft versus the hard. So there's a lot of contrast to include the lighting in this composition.
Yeah, you could read so much into that, really, because you've got nails in the wood. I can see you've got three people there, one of whom is broken, another is dominant, and there's somebody in the background who looks perfectly fine. There's a story in that. I love it. It's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing those with us, Kaonis. So what does a really good opportunity look like for you from the network? We've got so many people there now, and we've got quite a few people who've made the leap from one career into another career and finding their talent and their joy in painting and music and the history of art even. So what would be a lovely outcome? Is it a show somewhere, or are you looking to sell the work that you create? I know it's a labor of love. It often is. And I know you're retired from the military. So if somebody wanted to help you with an introduction or an opportunity that related to your work, what could we do?
I would think something like an exhibition or a brochure, but right now I'm also working on a website. And of course, I'm happy to be a part of this network, but ultimately, what I would like is to have a large show of all of my new work, which is not painted yet. But in the next 6 months, I plan to do about 10 large scale oil paintings and something that correlates to African American history and lifestyle.
Yeah, that was part of the conversation we had before. I love the idea of that, you know, that and finding one of the things you might like to consider, and we talked a little bit about this. You've got painting and you've got African American history. You need something else, right, to go with those two things to make it something newsworthy almost. So that something else could be the milestone idea that we said. What you've done is you've documented significant events in American history by illustrating what was happening to the African American community at that time. And you could, for example, go from the civil rights movement to Obama. I mean, if you'd told people back in the 60s that in the early 2000s there would be a US president with whose family and ethnic background is not white Caucasian, they probably would. Martin Luther King would be amazed, right? Wouldn't
I
he?
think so. I think so.
And it's lovely to think that these are the things that might be happening at those times in that sort of parallel, what used to feel a bit like a parallel community, and have it come together. You know, in 2008, Obama, bang, you know, and that's where things start to happen. It's great. Obviously, there remain significant problems all over the world in that respect. And I think you and I decided, I think you told me the date actually. I think it was, or it might have been chatting to Sasha, but eventually, did I tell you about that song? You know, the with the lyric "Coffee colored people by the score."
Yes, yes. And I did go
Yeah,
back and listen to this interesting song.
yeah. I think it's called. I think the song was by a band called Blue Mink, and
Yes.
yeah, and the premise of the song, and it was a '60s song, is that sooner or later we're all going to be the same color, right? And that's the case. It could take another 200 years, but sooner or later, it might be thousands of years, but that's where it's going. So your work could be a part, you know, that could be the logical trajectory of that work. That'd be fascinating to see. And if you can match up your talent with African American history and something else, which might be that, that's when gallery owners start making and museums start making, you know, taking notes. Listen, Kaonis, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for showing us your work. We'll put links wherever this appears. Thank you also for being a really valued member of our community, and I'm hoping everybody who watches this will connect with you and see if there's anything they can do to help.
Thank you.